still losing itself like it was on that run.
So today we're going to be addressing the fuel issue. The vehicle, as you guys might remember, broke down on the way home initially when we tried to get it home from buying it. We've done a series of different work, or a bunch of different work since then. We've changed the oil, we've put in new plugs, we pulled the thermostat because we thought we were having an overheating issue at first. We're cycling fluid just fine. What else? Fresh gas. Cleaned all the contacts in our distributor, our rotor button there. We've done a bunch of work and it's come a long ways. It starts well right now and it runs fairly well, but we still have an issue with idle drop every once in a while, and it seems like it loses fuel. If you remember on our last real trip, which was over for inspection, every once in a while on a long pull or when you'd really ask it for a lot of fuel, it would drop RPM, it would try to die. So I've been saying for a while what we need to get at is address fuel supply, our carburetor, and that's what we're going to get at today. We have an exciting sponsor for this show, and that is, let's see, it's been a while. Oh, been a while since I've done a rear lat spread. That's hard on the deltoids. The Carb Doctor. The Carb Doctor here, Mr. Rusty. If you don't know Rusty, you're missing out. What a great guy. Rusty from the Carb Doctor. They supply all kinds of carb parts. I believe they have a Canadian and an American distribution site or version of their website. If you need carburetor parts, go ahead and check them out. All you classic guys watching this, they have the gear. But they have sent us a full rebuild kit, new floats, filters, gaskets, all the whole shebang to rebuild that carburetor. So that's what we're going to get to doing today. I'm going to start by pulling our Edelbrock breather here. New filter. Something I forgot to list. There's spacer. We'll clean that up. We have some serious grime in this thing. Now before I start pulling parts, the throttle linkage and all the lines and everything there, even though I have online resources, I'm going to start taking pictures, lots of pictures. This is my first time pulling apart a 4-barrel carburetor. I've dealt with lots of ATV and motorcycle carburetors, but never an automotive carburetor. This is a whole new ball game for me. There we go. Have to take that off and clean it up. There we go. You look a little different than that. So I have the drip tray here from my furnace burner, my oil furnace. It happens to be a real big shallow tray, which is beautiful for working in and washing parts. So occasionally when I need it, I'll pull out of there for a project. Nice, because we can start breaking this down, cleaning everything out, and we'll break out our parts and separate them nicely, and then we can start washing them. We can use this for washing them up as well, probably with some fuel. I'm doing it over here because we have this rolling cart, so I can push it back out of the way if we don't finish it today. This has been really handy, by the way. I'm also doing it over here so I don't mess up with fuel and grime and grease and everything the top of my timber frame bench, because when I'm about to do some leather working again next week, I'll have to really do a good job cleaning. Also, it's convenient over here because we have the tool chest there with our wrenches and screwdrivers and everything, pliers, everything that we're going to need. So we're just going to start breaking this thing down. And I'm not even really sure what order to go about this, but one piece at a time. Let's take a little closer inspection of it. As is here, you can see it's quite the mess. We have a Rochester Quadrajet badge there. It's a 50-year-old carburetor. Probably never been broken down. Lots of gum, lots of gel. This old stuff here is what happens when your gas is sitting. It gels like that. A lot of gunk in around there. Start pulling it apart. Ooh, this thing is nasty. We picked up a hornet in there somewhere. I guess it must have flew in the old engine filter. Ooh-wee. Oh, that is nasty. Now our float doesn't look too bad. I'm sure we could clean it up. But Rusty provided us a brand new one. But have a look here. Oxidization and just the dirt and grime. This is a spring from inside the carburetor That was very difficult to get out because a little bit of oxidation was seized on. Now these metering rods and lift assembly right here, this was actually stuck down inside the carburetor. I had to pry it out with a screwdriver. The bottom, I'm hoping I'm going to be able to clean that up nicely. It was kind of seized down in there. Bag it and tag it. Far too many parts not to here.
Yeah, what they usually are referring to is that the way that we interact with the world, every bit of the system, whether it's what we claim to, who are willing to believe, who we're not willing to believe.
Now the 4-barrel carburetor, or these 4 barrels, the Quadrajet, and I believe some of the other brands too, had some internal well plugs. Right here, 4 to be exact, and they were plugged with, I believe, little aluminum plugs and aluminum filler, and they are famous for being leaky, especially as they age. So what you get is that your carburetor drains while your vehicle is sitting. All the gas that should stay there and sit in the bowl of your carburetor disappears. And this, I believe, is happening to a certain degree with this one, which is why after it sits for a few days, that fuel pump really has to work to get the vehicle going. Wink, 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 until the battery almost dies. Whereas if you had ran it yesterday and you went out today, I mean, it starts so fast, hardly half a wink, I think, sometimes. So we are going to mix up, and this is a very common, this is not my idea or anything, this is super common. If you're rebuilding these carburetors, this is almost the obvious thing everyone does when they rebuild these carburetors. As I've read, again, I'm not the expert here, you want to cover them over, usually with a JB weld. Use a little bit of acetone here, make sure there's no gas there that could form a lackluster bond. But pretty much anyone that does these will coat these in with some JB weld. JB Weld is a very good product, and it will stop, or should stop, your leaky well plugs. And that is why I cleaned this component of the carburetor first, so this could have the extra dry time. Get this epoxied, this can sit, and while I'm spending another few hours cleaning the other components of the carburetor, this can be curing. This is the third and final piece of the body and just look at the condition of this piece. Some of the gasket still on there. There we go. Now I have rough cleaned all of the components here, all the big pieces of the carburetor, a lot of the little linkage components, the choke pull off, etc. Now it's time to fine clean. So I've got some carburetor cleaner here, and I'm just going to hose everything down, lightly brush everything with some toothbrushes, wipe everything, just get all the grime and soot and any little gunk or anything that might be in there, blow everything out, have it pristine and clean, and set it aside until we're ready to start reassembling. Brand new needle seat. Beautiful piece of brass. That's nice because the original one there was galled up a little, heavily oxidized. Brand new float here. Isn't that pretty? There's the original. That would have been the same color as this when it was new. You can see a little different now. So do it. Install our first gasket here. Beautiful cut. Look at that. Everything a beauty. Everything is squeaky clean here. Being extra meticulous, constantly blowing, checking for specks of dirt or grit. New day, guys. We pulled a late night last night and we have that carburetor rebuilt. Hopefully correctly. That is quite the job. I used every resource I could. Come on, correct. There you go. It's a beaming, bright, sunny day, but look at the fog. Remember this tray where I said we'd do the final wipe down? That is the dirt that came from that. So that was well worthwhile. Here we have our finished Rochester. It's a good looking carb. Hopefully it runs well. Just cleaning everything up here, guys, before I move any further, so I have clean work surfaces to work. But I just put all my stuff together, and this is what we took out of that carburetor there. As you can see, is quite the mess. You know, that probably would have affected performance. You know, some of these pieces are big enough to clog the jets. So glad we got all that out of there. Now the reason I pulled that hard line is for one, to inspect it, but two, I'm intending to cut the line, maybe take out 6 or 8 inches, put in a section of soft line and like a clear bowl filter. If you recall, or I was debating dropping that tank. Originally I was debating replacing the tank. It's a big tank and it's a good looking tank, and I don't want to go through all the expense, the added expense, if I don't need to, in replacing the tank. Now, this type of vehicle, being this age, has like a rod style fuel pump up on the engine, so it pulls fuel from the tank instead of pushing it from the tank. So that means we just have lines, steel lines, all the way from the tank all the way to the front, right down under the engine where this hard line connects to is like a little assembly that is like a canister filter bolted on this side of the engine. I don't have a replacement for that. I don't know how dirty that is. We might need to swap that out, or I'm going to get looking for one. But for right now, to ensure that I don't fill my beautiful new carburetor full of grime from the tank, because I'm thinking there might be some dirt down there, like I said, we're going to snip this line. Now, as long as you're not choking off your fuel supply, the more lines of defense you have between your tank and your carburetor or your fuel management system, the better it is, the safer it is anyways. So having this clear bowl filter will be good there. For one, it's another line of defense. It'll help us actively see what our fuel is looking like, because right now you can't do that. I just think it's a win all the way around. Now I'm thinking a plumbing, like a copper pipe cutter, will work for this application. I'm hoping it will. Whoa, that's messy, girl. Let's go and cut out some of this more nasty elbowing here. Hey, there we go. Very clean. That's beautiful. I believe it's just a soft white metal line. Oh, that Pop on the big truck? Oh, yep, that's Pop. He blew the horn to us. Thanks. I like celery in my soup.
I don't have celery.
Oh, well. Nice. Don't scratch her. Look at this, guys. Isn't that beautiful and clean? Top of the dome here, the valves cleaned up a little bit, the valve covers. I'm sure the valves could use a little cleaning. I'm just hoping everything is hooked up correctly. You see where I've ran here? My hard line that used to dip down, and now we've ran our bowl up here. So I'll be able to see right now, as soon as I click the key and we wink it a few times, we'll be able to see if she's pulling fuel or not. Soft line, that'll help keep it out of the way. Let's see if she'll pull fuel and fill that bowl full. Come on, girl, pick it up. It actually started. It actually started. Smooth. Just gonna wait to see if it does choke itself down. Smooth as butter. Obviously it needs to be adjusted. No setup there yet. Just letting it run. Make sure it's running. Make sure it's not dying, sputtering, dropping. And now to make some adjustments. I'm sure it'll take some time getting it set up over time. The little adjustments, the choke assembly, that's the thing that gave me the most grief on this build, was that choke assembly. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really have to give a big shout out to the Carb doc, Rusty. Please check out the website, links down in the description. They have been awesome. He has been awesome, both in giving me the supplies for this project, the donation, which is really awesome. But also he's been there as an awesome resource. He is an expert in these carburetors in every sense of the word, so his knowledge has been greatly appreciated. You'll have to come back next time to find out exactly how well the machine runs now. We'll show you that next week. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel if it's your first time here, and we'll see you in the next video.